everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Alex of Coyote Star Astrology, and today we are looking at the new moon in Virgo coming in on September 6th, 2021, which is a Monday here in California. It's actually tomorrow. Sorry guys, this video is out a bit later than I would have liked. But today's Sunday in California when I'm filming this. I should have out my podcast with Santo Spinacci. Incredible podcast, and that sort of took up a lot of my time this week. I've been busy editing and getting that out for you. So this video is going to be, yes, we're going to talk about the new moon in Virgo. It's a nice one, but it's also going to serve as your heads up for the incoming Mercury retrograde through Libra. The day of the new moon, Mercury will have officially walked into its first degree of pre-shadow. So technically we are in the orb of the Mercury retrograde starting this new moon. Mercury will not actually turn retrograde until September 26th PST, but we are starting that journey. But first, let's talk about this beautiful new moon at 14 degrees Virgo. It's conjunct Mars, which is really nice because Mars is the activation of forward moving impulse. So this is the desire to take a step forward and get things moving, which of course is a really nice energy to have with a new moon because new moons are new beginnings as well. It's a fresh clearance of energy, and Virgo is all about clearance. Virgo is about improvement and purifying and practicality. So this is a very productive new moon. Virgo is a very productive earth sign, and Mars is about productivity as well. So you'll want to check where 14 degrees Virgo hits your chart, of course, because this will tell you more about where this beautiful forward moving energy is. But the other thing that makes this new moon really powerful is that Mars here at 24 degrees is in beautiful trine to Pluto at 24 degrees Capricorn. That's an exact trine of Earth, which is very dynamic and again, very productive. So having that power of transformative Pluto working with us rather than against us means that this is a positive forward moving wave of metamorphosis and change that we can sort of ride like a tidal wave. It has a lot of like chi energy behind it. Pluto is that sort of like raw, magnetic, sexual energy that's very powerful. So this new moon has a charge because of that beautiful trine. And similarly, the new moon at 14 is in exact trine to Uranus at 14 degrees Taurus. So this is a really beautiful aspect as well because Uranus is another highly charged planetary body that we want on our side. And it also deals with change. But Uranus is different from Pluto in the sense that Uranus is more innovative. It deals with upgrades and new perspectives. So this suggests that this new moon is also a forward moving wave of energy that allows us to approach things differently or, honestly, in a better way. Uranus sort of gives us this advantage of seeing things objectively that allow for a new experimental approach or potentially extending ourselves in a new way that's beneficial. So honestly, nicest spread we've had in a while. Yes, there's a subtle opposition to Neptune. I'm not too worried about that. I think altogether it's lovely. So let's talk about the Mercury retrograde because Mercury is the ruler of Virgo. So it's kind of interesting that yes, it's this beautiful step in a new direction that feels like it's organized in a nice way. But then it's interesting because then the ruler of the chart is stepping its first foot into retrograde. So my thoughts on that are, you guys know me if you've been listening to me for a while. I kind of weirdly love retrogrades, not because they're always particularly fun to go through, but I don't know. I have a lot of Scorpio. I like shadow work. I like change. I like digging in, right? And that's what Mercury retrogrades are all about. Now, some of us will feel this and any retrograde more than others. If this Mercury retrograde isn't really affecting your natal planets, then you may breeze through this and it may go somewhat unnoticed. So, as always, we want to look at where Mercury is at 10 degrees in our chart and look at where Mercury will be transiting for this transit, and I'll give you the degrees that he passes through. But we'll want to look at what area Mercury is transiting in this case Libra, to find out how this is going to impact us on an individual level. All right, so let's track Mercury's journey through retrograde here, and I'll give you your little Mercury retrograde survival guide. Mercury is retrograding in Libra, which brings to our awareness the topic of relationships and interpersonal relationships. So romance and romantic relationships, partnerships are emphasized with Libra, but that's not all Libra covers. Libra covers all of our interpersonal relationships, friendships, clients, colleagues, roommates, etc. And whenever we're talking about Libra, we're looking at the balance that we're all seeking to find within our relationships with others. Libra and Aries are in natural opposition. So the two are in a symbiotic relationship. And the relationship is, how do I do me, my desires, my course in life? How do I speak my truth? How do I be who I am, but still be in harmony with other people? Libra, the balance, the scales, the peace. How do I keep the peace with others, but still be authentically true to who I am? And because the two are in natural opposition, by stepping into Aries, you're always going to tip the scales and ruffle the feathers of some people. That's just the way that it is. And that's where sort of like divine alignment with others comes in to play. And individuals who have strong Libra in their charts can probably tell you that a good portion of their life has probably been spent trying to keep the peace to the detriment of what their actual needs are. And that's one of the things that they're learning, is to find that balance. As am I. I have a North Node in Aries. I'm here to speak about things that piss people off. And every time I do, boom, my South Node in the 7th house, that kind of upsets that balance, really pisses off my Libra moon. But I digress. The point is to do it gracefully, where we are aligning with our own truth and doing what we need to do, and not losing our identity or giving our power away to others, but also still, of course, coexisting and having beautiful, peaceful relations with other people. So that's one thing that comes up with Libra. But relationships and the dynamics that exist there are coming up heavily this retrograde. And you notice that when Mercury, here it is at 10 degrees, begins its journey into pre-shadow, it is in trine to Saturn. So we're looking at the long term here, and the North Node, the future. So this is about moving forward with relationships and maybe doing some quality control as well, because Saturn's involved. So couple other notes about this retrograde. When Mercury retrogrades in Libra, we can definitely have people from the past showing up. So this is where you can have a previous partner reach out, or you can meet someone who has definitely some codes or some past life sort of karma attached to that dynamic. In either case, if a person from our past or even a friend from our past is showing up, it's always to complete some kind of karmic cycle or gain some type of closure. And this is sort of a caution that most astrologers will give you. Retrogrades, not a time to begin a relationship. Relationships that began during Mercury retrograde tend to go through turbulence or endings in retrogrades that come in the future. When you begin something, when you sign a contract of any kind, you want the wires, so to say, of the universe to be in alignment. Mercury retrograde, the wires are crossed. So starting a business, signing a contract, signing a lease, or beginning a relationship is ill-advised, if you want an astrologer's opinion. So September 6th, first day of pre-shadow. Your first chunk of time is September 6th to September 26th. That is your pre-shadow phase. So we're not in retrograde yet, but we're in retrograde territory because these are the degrees that Mercury will pass through on its retrograde course. So pre-shadow is about the themes of the retrograde beginning to trickle in. And pay mind to this. I mean, pre-shadow, and the reason I always mention it is just as powerful, just as wonky and retrograde-y as the retrograde period in many cases. I sometimes feel that they're almost gnarlier. So it is part of the journey. So the 6th to the 26th is pre-shadow. I'm just going through here to see if there's anything else. Okay, so September 26th, Pacific Standard Time. Again, you'll want to adjust for where you are on the planet. That is the day of the retrograde. So I'd say like the 24th, the 25th, the 26th, those days are going to feel there's going to be a accumulation of the retrograde energies around that day. So definitely pay attention to what's coming up in relationships, or again, checking what part of your chart Mercury will be at when it's at 25 degrees Libra, and looking at that house and what themes may be arising for you. You should know by then what the retrograde is about, what's coming up, what feels off, what do you need more information on, is there a question, is there any confusion, whatever it is. As of September 26th PST, you are on the journey to find out, to get more to get more answers. Also worth noting that when Mercury goes retrograde, it will be in square to Pluto, which makes this retrograde transit incredibly powerful, and it will bring in lots of change, especially because of that initial trine to the North Node when Mercury went into shadow. Additionally, when we look at the ruler of Libra, Venus, she's in Scorpio, where she's actually at fall. She's the goddess of the underworld, so she's stirring up lots of fated attractions, soulmate contracts, endings, rebirthings, secrets, obsessions. She's, Venus in Scorpio, she's not for the faint of heart. All right, so after that, at least one day, I would look at October 7th through, right there especially, October 7th through the 9th, particularly the 9th. Look at all that Libra, 16-degree stellium in Libra. That will probably be an acceleration of the themes because we will have Mars there. That could be an important conversation. Again, with all of this Libra, this looks like a conversation that's seeking to find harmony and balance. There's a real thrust for that with Mars and Libra there. Mars, Libra is the diplomat, wants to find a way to work it out. But another thing I forgot to mention, this retrograde is making an opposition to Chiron in Aries. So there's probably going to be some healing conversations that need to take place and sort of this deeper shamanic work that Chiron is so known for. Moving on to Mercury direct. Okay, boom. October 18th is a big day, guys, because not only does Mercury go direct, but Jupiter goes direct as well. October is going to be pretty intense in general because we're going to have Saturn go direct, Pluto go direct, and then Jupiter on the 18th. You're going to see a lot of people moving forward with things in October, but particularly October 18th, when Mercury goes direct in Libra, which is going to be that solution-oriented resolution energy. When Mercury goes direct, it's like, okay, I'm ready to move forward. I'm ready to get clarity. Mercury has gone on the journey. It's gathered whatever information and codes it needed, and now it's ready to get on with things. Green light go on October 18th. But because of that square to Pluto that we saw when Mercury actually went retrograde, Pluto's force and Pluto's influence is sort of overshadowing the entire retrograde. And Pluto deals with endings and transformation. So relationships that are affected by this retrograde are likely to go through some kind of metamorphosis where they come out the other side completely new and ready to go into sort of a new layer of depth within that soul contract, or they may end. They may sever and both souls may go their separate ways. What I will say is that for relationships, friendships, or whatever that do end this retrograde, it will be because it's what's best for the individuals involved, because of that need for Chiron and Aries and that need of that polarity of like, I need to do what's best for me. So a lot of that energy, this retrograde, a lot of this, it's this very potent portal where we emerge on the other side of October 18th, where all of us will have gone through this journey of needing to really establish what is authentic for the journey forward and following that desire. That's what Aries is about. It's like the inner fuel that is inexhaustible because it's the flame of desire and that never goes out. So this is kind of a retrograde where we're all encouraged to go forward with whatever that is. So yeah, October 18th, Mercury goes direct and we see the tidal wave of that energy move ahead. When Mercury goes direct, he'll be right back there again in trine to Saturn, trine the North Node. So huge, huge growth for this retrograde. All right, everyone, that about does it. You have your Mercury retrograde survival guide. And, you know, we're just at the beginning, but at least now you're going in prepared. And I'm wishing you all a beautiful new moon in Virgo. This new moon in Virgo, I forgot to mention in the beginning, really good one for forward movements regarding health. Virgo is, of course, all about holistic wellness. But having that Mars there, it's really this ability to step forward with clarity around an improvement factor that in this case may be holistic or regarding health and wellness in some way. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. If you've enjoyed this video, please do give it a like and a share. I really appreciate it. If you would like to reach out to me for a reading, you're more than welcome to do so. I'm putting my website up there on the screen, coyotestarastrology.com. You can reach out to me for a reading there. And if you don't already follow me on Instagram, I'm putting that up there on the screen, Earth to Coyote. I do lots of astrology there as well. Have a beautiful week, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.